first New York City, what are they called? Knicks championship in decades. We saw so many New Yorkers uniting behind one chant. My bagel's Jewish, my mayor's Muslim, my Christian Dior, Knicks in 4. But this isn't the first time that New Yorkers have started uniting against one rhetoric. In fact, they did so just a couple months ago behind Mayor Zohran Mamdani. He's a socialist contributing to the middle class in the way that he interacts with the community and handles how he speaks to others.
Mamdani is changing the way that politicians behave in many ways, as he is setting an example of how a politician should interact with their community. Mamdani is going and talking to New Yorkers. He's like doing conferences and speeches that catch everyone's attention, from single parents to families to people with no kids to everybody who's in New York. An immigrant, somebody who's been in the city for their entire life. He is getting to everybody's hearts, and he is changing the way that politicians behave by showing that politicians are supposed to love their community.
He's been rallying for the Knicks, and during the Knicks NBA championship parade, he was giving a speech on how the Knicks had a 0.4% chance to win the championship, but he proved all of our haters wrong.
Which leads us to our first point, and how the mayor Zohran Mamdani has been able to change how politicians behave in terms of interacting with his voters. Specifically, he's been able to appeal to the needs of the people, and has set an example by talking and focusing in on issues like economic stability and affordability for all. And in some ways that he's done this is by staying in the public eye and being able to, first of all, listen to the people so that he's able to gather their needs.
By appealing to them and what they like, by going onto social media, jumping into pools fully clothed, having kids sign something that says on Knicks games that there's no bedtime, with handprints, visiting the schools, talking to the people face to face, making them feel like they're accepted in the community, which is what he's trying to do. He's trying to interact with his community and make them feel very close to him.
And now let's look at the youth voter turnout. So the youth voter turnout went from 11% to 40%, is that what that says? 41%, according to the NYC votes of 2025. That is a dramatic increase. That is about a third of an increase in percentage. And the youth voter registration increased a whole lot, and according to the Campaign Finance Board. And having more youth voters means more people are voting, which is the goal. We want everyone to have a voice in our community, and that's what he's helping make happen. He's helping to appeal to everyone, and youth especially, and he's helping more people get their voice out.
The only way that youth voters could happen is because of social media. Kids are always on their phones these days, which is why his appeal in social media has made this possible. Thanks to all the videos he's created, he's shown up on social media and created this drastic improvement.
Zohran Mamdani's youth voter turnout has influenced lots of other figures and politicians like Claire Valdez to do similar strategies, such as door-to-door interactions with communities and posting on social media to advertise their campaigns for greater success.
This brings me to my final point, that New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani has not only changed how politicians behave in a good way, but also by painting him in a negative light. Because they use him as a common enemy, they instead make it so that way not only do they behave in certain campaign measures, but as politicians act differently. Because for people representing corporate interests, the top 1% in the few, a man representing the many is always going to be much more unappealing to them.
While Mamdani did become mayor and gain a lot of people positively, he also gained a lot of negative views. And like Ryan was saying, the former Governor Patterson was trying to make an enemy and say that all the people should unite and go against a different candidate.
New York is the city of upsets. It started with the British, the Knicks took it home, and finally in 2026, Zohran Mamdani showed us that by being intentional about PR in the core of the Big Apple, he can achieve what nobody thought he could. When New York talks, America listens. And Zohran Mamdani has showed us that by interacting with voters, by focusing on youth voter turnout, and by allowing other people to unite against him as a common enemy, he can change the way politicians behave.
And at its core, all these things create a ripple effect. So what starts in New York City ultimately expands beyond New York City. And now, as technology makes more and more ways accessible to campaigns and to spread said messaging, it ultimately proves that just one candidate, even in a place where he's only catering to New York voters, can undoubtedly change the very way that politicians behave. Thank you.